This week on Tumbleweed and Tokai, we explore an ancient cave city with a cathedral inside. Visit the Sultanhani Caravanserai and marvel at the frescoes at St. Jean Church. Hi, we're Jill and Terry, and with our Puli Tokai, we're off adventuring in our van Tumbleweed. And here's our Puli in flying puppy mode. We drove through the high plains, which is the breadbasket of Turkey, and it has been a trade route for centuries. On a major branch of the Silk Road, this caravanserai seems to rise naturally from the earth, constructed of beautiful honey and beige-colored limestone. These inns provided security and safety to the travelers.
Here we are in the Sultanhani Caravanserai.
A massive and intricately carved entrance gate leads you into the inner courtyard, lined with rooms that offered shelter and protection to the traveling merchants. We're at the Sultanhani Caravanserai, which is one of the biggest, or the biggest, I think, in Turkey. And this is set up as a healing center. Avicenna, often considered the father of modern medicine, influenced care here. He wrote a famous textbook called The Annals of Medicine that was used in universities everywhere. Mortar and pestle, hearkening back to my youth. I'm on the plains, the steppes of central Turkey. Right now, I'm in what they call the healing room. I never thought about them having a clinic in these things, but I guess it makes perfect sense because, people could have gotten sick as they were traveling. Herbs, demijohns, which, wine is medicinal, so there you go. All right, we got the hammam here. This is the part of the hammam where you can get clean. This is the scent room, and they have an old still and then distilled essential oils. Here we have the kitchen. Leaving the courtyard through a magnificent gateway, you enter the former Winter Hall. This ongoing exhibition features ancient and antique Turkish rugs, carpets, and kilims. This caravanserai dates from about 1229, and the space provides a perfect gallery for the ancient traditional rugs. The high, vaulted arch space just lends itself to the display of this art. The town of Sultanhani itself is world-renowned as a major center for the restoration of antique carpets. The local artisans and weavers maintain these age-old traditions and use centuries-old weaving techniques. Of course, there's mass production of carpets now, but Turkey is also a leader in artisanal production. The Turkish carpets are famous for having a double knot and a symmetrical wrapping method that leads to the creation of an extremely durable pile. The Turkish carpets often use rich, locally sourced materials such as high-grade woolen, cotton, and sometimes even silk. Originally, the dyes were all organic, but now, of course, they use synthetic dyes. There are regional differences, but the area around Konya, where we are, is famous for tribal designs with bold geometric motifs that I just absolutely love. We discovered a carpet hall. I think it's just really kind of an amazing place. It's arched space and just carpets hanging like art, like the art that they are. So very interesting. I don't know anything about Turkish carpets, I just know that I like them.
Yeah, they're very, very beautiful.
Very beautiful. Another area of the Caravanserai features ceramic arts. There's the bar. Impressed, are you?
Very, very.
Me too. I'm pretty impressed with the Sultanhani Caravanserai. It's interesting, it's well done. The scale of the Anatolian plains is hard to grasp. I love the open expanse of sky. This is the road heading into Ilhara Valley. Our first foray into Cappadocia. This cave complex is the largest in Cappadocia. It's located in the Ilhara Valley, and it's what they call the Cathedral of Selime. They estimate that people started to carve out these dwellings in the 900s. This site has been utilized throughout history. The Hittites, Roman, early Christians, Byzantines, and Seljuks all made themselves at home here. Selime Castle is the largest and most elaborate cave complex in Cappadocia. It has multiple levels, includes a kitchen, a winery, a monastery, a church, and then also what they call the cathedral, a church built in the basilica style. The multiple levels, the elaborate carved tunnels, the hidden passageway make this a fascinating place to explore. The complex is set high up a cliff face, about 50 meters above the river. The location is easily defensible and offers a very good view of the valley. The initial rooms at the base of the cliff were stables, and if you were visiting, you could leave your horse there and then go up through a tunnel. This gave maximum security to the complex. This is the backdrop to my morning walk. It's up a cliff face, and the operative word there is up. But up we went, and unfortunately Terry got to climb it twice, but that's another story for later. There's little tumbleweed down there. The winery. Big vat in the floor. Well, now I'm in the kitchen, and I am assuming all those niches were storage. Makes a logical assumption. There's our chimney. So if it's at the top of the room, then I'm thinking the hearth was down here below it. And my theory is holes in the floor for storage. At least they had a view when they cooked. And this is the room that they referred to as the monastery. So up there you can see the balconies, the side aisles. There goes Terry disappearing. Oh, there he is, popping out, way up there. This place is exciting to explore, but also a bit treacherous. There's huge holes in the floor, but also fabulous tunnels that invite you to explore. That's an example of a rolling stone door where they could close off this room. Shall we trap ourselves in here, Terry?
I don't think we can move it.
So this is the room that they called the church. This space was originally used as a church, a place for worship. But as you can see from the blackened ceiling, later occupants used it as a kitchen, or at least there were a lot of cooking fires. There are places where they dug pits in the floor to have a tandoor oven. This was a fascinating place to explore. A bit treacherous with all the holes that they'd dug, but fascinating. I have finally found the cathedral, and it is indeed impressive. So the first place I thought was the cathedral was actually the monastery. The second place I thought was the cathedral was actually labeled as a church. So here I think I have finally found what they call the cathedral. We climbed up the hillside of the Cathedral of Selime, and we have explored around, and it's been interesting. Where is Terry going? Terry's off to try to find his keys because he lost them someplace in this labyrinth. We just have to say thanks to the amazing person who put them by the spot where we originally parked. Then we were treated to a fantastic light display. The storm blew in and the whole atmosphere changed. This has turned out to be one of the things that we like the most about Turkey. We've been joking that if it weren't for the baklava, our budget in Turkey would be quite low. We wouldn't be spending anything, but we keep buying the baklava. Dangsy dang dang, we got ourselves a big old stratovolcano there by the name of Hasan Dağ. And it's been lurking there for the last couple of days, but we haven't been able to see it because its skirts were down. You're a star. Video, see.
Kaşar?
Kaşar peynir. Kaşar cheese.
Penere?
Yumurta.
Yeah. That's amazing. Very cool. Thank you.
Then we headed off to our next attraction, the Church of St. Jean. The St. Jean Church is a historic 13th century two-story rock-carved church located near the city of Nevşehir. The church was carved directly into a fairy chimney and has two levels. The lower level was housing for the monks, while the upper level was the actual place of worship. I'm standing in front of the Church of St. Jean. It dates from 1212, which, is mind-boggling to me because I'm used to a different time frame. And it was restored in 1995. Terry's carefully climbing the spiral staircase to get up to the second level, which has the frescoes. The upper chapel is renowned for its splendid biblical frescoes depicting, among other things, the Last Supper, the baptism, and the betrayal. They're highly unique because they are rendered in mostly yellows and browns over a stark black background. While the frescoes were restored in 1995, they survived for so many years because they were covered with a protective layer of soot. We hope you're enjoying the attractions of Turkey as much as we are. If you enjoy these videos, please give them a like and consider subscribing down below. Thank you for watching. Join us next week on Tumbleweed and Tokai as we continue the adventure.